Good evening, folks. I finally got round, as I said earlier, the video I did this morning. I finally got round to reviewing the big show, which is headlined by Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora. That was a hell of a stacked card last night. I'm really impressed. There wasn't a bad fight on there. You know, it was really good from top to bottom. I'll just do the world title action, because I'll be here all day talking about it. And of course we've got Fabio Wardley and Fraser Clark to watch this evening, so I'm just going to do this quickly, and then probably tomorrow I'll do a review of that show. So, WBC Flyweight Championship. Julio Cesar Martinez got a majority decision over Angelino Cordova. Again, what a way to start off the world title action last night. This was a fantastic fight from the start to finish. I had it 114-112 to Martinez. I think the two knockdowns in particular took it for him. It probably would have been a draw had those knockdowns not been there. I mean, Cordova, he was a fantastic fighter. He was landing some really clean left hooks, some hard right hands sort of early on, and it was really pushing Martinez. Martinez was, he was in a fucking fight last night. He dropped twice in the third. Martinez dropped Cordova twice in the third with both jabs, real hard thudding jabs that sort of dropped him. And I think overall, Martinez, he landed the classier shots. I mean, Cordova was brave. I mean, they were furious exchanges. There was a nasty cut over the right eye of Martinez, which was bleeding quite a lot, and then there was a clash of heads in the 10th, and there was a lot of blood. I mean, both eyes were cut. He was bleeding quite a lot. But I just felt that I think the better shots were coming from Martinez. I'd like to see this one again. Wouldn't mind a rematch with this one. Good win for Martinez. Obviously, he says in the past, and obviously now he wants to chase unification at flyweight. So why not? Next, we had the WBA middleweight title. Lara, the classy Cuban, who I think, from what they were saying last night, he's the oldest current world champion at the age of 40. He's coming up for 41. I mean, he's only like a month older than me. So it's nice to see him doing it for us older boys. Yeah, knockout round 2, Michael Zerafa of Australia. Quite how Zerafa got this world title shot, I'm not entirely sure. It just shows how the sanctioning bodies are a bit fucking strange. As I always say, I'm always criticising them. It was a beautiful left hand in the second round, right to the jaw. Zerafa went down, his legs betrayed him, he was all over the shop. Perfect, picture perfect punch. And Zerafa was finished. He couldn't beat the count, his legs were gone. Fantastic knockout win for Lara. Not sure where Lara goes from here, really. I mean, ultimately, I would imagine the unification down the road with Janibek, which I would obviously favour Janibek to win that, because he's, pretty savage. He's pretty savage in there. But, I mean, for a 40-year-old man, and I still maintain all those years ago he beat Canelo Alvarez. I will die on that hill. He deserved the nod in that fight. He can be a bit negative sometimes, can Lara. He can be very negative. But no, I thoroughly enjoyed watching that sort of demolition job in the second round. Fantastic fight. Fantastic punch. Brilliant. If you haven't seen it, go and look at it. Next, WBA light welterweight, or super lightweight, however you want to say it. Isaac Cruz, Pitbull Cruz. He took the title from Rolly Romero. I've been very critical of Romero in the past, especially that fight against Barroso last year. I think he's probably one of the worst champions out there. I've never really rated the guy. And he lost the title to Pitbull Cruz last night. I mean, Cruz was on him like a little buzzsaw, just walking forward. He was just smashing him all. I mean, I'll give Romero credit. He is a tough guy. He stayed on his feet for that whole assault. I mean, from basically the first round, Cruz was on him. Cruz would not be stopped. He was just pulling forward, smashing him with left hooks and overhand right hands, bang. And he was shaking him, and he knocked him around the ring a few times. His legs buckled. Romero's legs buckled quite a few times, but he was able to stay on his feet. I mean, even when the end came, excuse me, even when the end came in the eighth, he was still on his feet. I mean, this fight was only going to go one way. I mean, Romero couldn't really cope with Cruz's just the aggression. You know, he was just on him from start with no let up. He was just bullying forward. He was just chopping away with those wild left hooks and right hands and everything that Romero threw back. Don't worry, he was throwing back. He was landing some leather himself. But nothing was discouraging Cruz, and it was only going to end up one way. And it was a good stoppage. I've seen some people complaining online this morning, but you get that anyway. You know, people always complain. So there you go. Isaac Cruz is now the WBA light welterweight champion. Potential fight with Devin Haney down the line, or Subriel Matias down. That would be a fucking great fight. That would be a good fight. So yeah, the light welterweight division, or super lightweight, or whatever you want to call it, really shaping up to be a really good division. Yeah, one of the top divisions at the moment. So yeah, good win for Cruz. Absolutely brilliant. Really enjoyed it. Now, main event time. Obviously, originally it was supposed to be Tszyu defending his WBO light middleweight title against Keith Thurman, and also the vacant WBC title was on the line. Thurman pulled out a couple of weeks ago with an injury. That wasn't a fight I was particularly interested in. I didn't want to see Thurman in there. Thurman, in my opinion, has passed it. I've been a big fan of Thurman in the past. But he's too injury prone. He's been very, very inactive. I mean, he's fought once since the Pacquiao fight, and that was nearly 5 years ago. You know, so quite how he got this opportunity, I don't know. Again, it's the sanctioning bodies. But anyway, he pulled out, and Sebastian Fundora was brought in late, and he's a big guy. I mean, how he makes it's crazy. I mean, he's 6'6", this guy. Yeah, Fundora. I think, you know, the average height of a light middleweight is about maybe 5'6", 5'7", 5'8", maybe. So that, I mean, at the weigh-in, it was very clear. Yeah, the size difference was ridiculous. But I thought, going into this, I thought Tszyu would do the business, and what a fucking fight! You know, another bloodbath, a bit like the Martinez fight from earlier. Real bloodbath. I mean, the first 2 rounds, Tszyu was just stalking forward. He was cracking him with lefts and rights. Busted up Fundora's nose. Definitely broken, I'd say, the amount of blood that came from it throughout the fight. But late in the round, in the second round, Tszyu sort of balled forward, and obviously Fundora had his arms up, and his elbow cracked Tszyu on top of the head. Fucking nasty old massive cut, and it pissed blood from the start. And I thought, oh hello, this may end up being a no contest, because it was only in the second round. And all that blood that was pissing down into Tszyu's eyes, I mean, it must have affected his vision. It must have affected the ability to see the punches coming. And Fundora, I mean, I've seen the guy fight before, and he's never really been that impressive for a big man, a big tall guy. Yeah, he's never really sort of used his height. Not I've seen anyway. He always tends to fight to his opponent's height, because obviously he fights at a lower weight. But no, he was using his jab quite nicely. He was keeping Tszyu occupied with his jab, and Tszyu was trying all the way through it. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, sorry, I'm just glancing at my notes here. Yeah, he was just. Yeah, it all became. I mean, Tszyu was always trying. Don't get me wrong. But Fundora just he was able to control it, and now, you know, people have said, and it's right, the blood from that nasty cut from the elbow really affected. I believe, and I agree. A lot of people said, and I agree, it did affect the outcome of this fight. I think it definitely it affected his vision, but at the same time, Fundora was having his own problems. You know, he was probably struggling to breathe because his nose was pissing blood. He had blood in his mouth as well, and I think it was in rounds 9 and 10. Tszyu battled back. He landed several straight right hands, laser accurate, right to the chin. He was headhunting rather a lot, I found, Tszyu. But watching those right hands, it was, you could see he's inherited that from his old man, from his dad, Tszyu. Fantastic, he was really going for it. But Fundora he battled back. He took the 11th and 12th for me, just using his reach. They're both brave warriors. I mean, it was a real bloodbath in there. And I had it 116, 112 to Fundora, same as one of the judges. One of the other judges had it to Tszyu by the same score. I found that a bit out there, considering Fundora basically, after the cut came, controlled most of the fight. For me, it's just what I saw. And the other judge had it 115, 113 to Fundora. So a bit of an upset, really. Fundora, last minute replacement for Thurman. He'd been knocked out in his previous fight, and I thought Tszyu would probably do the business. Maybe not necessarily knock him out, but probably take a wide decision. But no, so there you go. Sebastian Fundora is the new WBC and WBO light middleweight champion. Now, I believe there is a rematch clause. I think it's necessary. I mean, I hate immediate rematches for the sake of rematches, but for this fight, I would definitely, because I do think the cut on the head affected the outcome. I think if Tszyu hadn't been cut, I think he probably would have taken the decision, or maybe even a late stoppage. Who knows? Or whatever. But no, great fight. Great evening. Great night of boxing. I mean, the whole card was stacked. Well worth the money if you paid for it, because it was pay-per-view on Amazon Prime. Well worth the money. No quibbles about that. Absolutely fantastic evening of boxing. So yeah, assuming they get the rematch, Errol Spence got in the ring afterwards, which I thought was a bit odd. I mean, Errol Spence, to me, he's got no right to. Well, he has, I suppose, but he's calling out the winner. And I thought, hang on a minute, mate, you got absolutely fucking trounced in your last fight, and you haven't fought since. Bud Crawford did a fucking number on you. So, no, I found that a bit strange. But again, it's money. And I believe there was talk of Bud Crawford potentially moving up and fighting the winner at some point. So, again, it's quite interesting. But, yeah, I did find it a bit odd, Spence getting in there. But, who knows? Who knows? If it makes money, it makes sense, as they say. So, yeah, good night's boxing. Really enjoyed it. It'd be interesting to see it again. I hope they do it again. Absolutely brilliant. Right, it's enough out of me. I'm going to go and watch the Wardley Clark fight. Hope you've enjoyed your weekend. I hope you're all doing well, and I'll speak to you soon.